The sun had barely risen when the first signs of movement appeared on the horizon. Alex stood on the balcony, scanning the valley below. The air was tense, charged with anticipation. Today would be decisive. The faction leader, the one who had once been Lyra's husband's ally, was approaching with a well-prepared force. Everything they had learned, trained for, and prepared would be put to the ultimate test. Lyra joined him silently. Her calm composure belied the storm she knew was coming. "This is it," she said quietly. "The faction leader will challenge everything we have built. Every choice matters. But remember, humans, your unpredictability is our strength. That is why you are here." Alex nodded, feeling the familiar mixture of fear, excitement, and determination. He knew that his skills, instincts, and human ingenuity would be critical. He had learned much in the past days: how to anticipate alien tactics, how to improvise under pressure, and how to act decisively when the unexpected happened. Today all of it would be tested. The first wave of scouts appeared, sleek ships moving cautiously toward the estate. Alex acted immediately, directing drones, activating decoy signals, and manipulating energy barriers. The attackers faltered, confused by the unexpected patterns. Alex's improvisation forced them into blind spots where defensive systems could trap or disorient them. Lyra watched him closely, impressed. "You have grown fast," she said. "Humans adapt in ways we cannot predict. That is why you are indispensable. That is why we will succeed." The skirmishes escalated. Small teams of operatives tried to infiltrate the estate. Alex anticipated their every move, using the environment, the technology, and even the attackers' assumptions against them. He guided drones to intercept, created controlled diversions, and manipulated energy shields to maximize confusion. Each success boosted his confidence and tested his ability to stay calm under pressure. Hours passed, and the main force arrived. The faction leader himself emerged, commanding a fleet with precision and authority. Alex realized this was not just a test of strength, but of strategy and intellect. Every decision they made could change the outcome of the entire confrontation. Lyra stood beside him. "Alex, this is the moment where your humanity shines. They will expect caution, hesitation. You must act differently. Trust your instincts. Be bold. That is how humans triumph." Alex swallowed hard, gripping his device. He understood the plan they had devised, but he also knew that no plan survived contact with reality entirely intact. Improvisation would be necessary. He would need to think faster than the faction leader expected and act in ways that even advanced aliens could not. Anticipate the engagement began. Ships moved toward the estate, drones swarmed, and energy barriers flared. Alex directed operations with precision, sending units to intercept, creating false openings, and drawing enemies into controlled zones where their movements became predictable and limited. The attackers were taken off guard by the human creativity at work. Forced to react rather than act on their own terms, Lyra moved among the command panels. "You see," she said, "humans are extraordinary not because of size or strength, but because of thought, adaptability, and courage. That is why we succeed." The battle intensified. Small boarding teams attempted to breach the main estate, but Alex had anticipated this. Hidden energy fields and drones trapped the intruders, disorienting them without causing permanent harm. Every move was calculated, yet spontaneous, a perfect combination of strategy and human unpredictability. Hours turned into a tense night. The faction leader realized that brute force and conventional tactics were ineffective. His attempts to overwhelm the estate failed repeatedly, each frustrated by Alex's ingenuity. Drones intercepted communications, decoys misled sensors, and hidden traps disrupted their formations. Finally, the faction leader attempted a direct confrontation. Moving closer to the main estate with his personal vessel, Alex studied the approach carefully, identifying weaknesses in formation, energy fluctuations, and predictable behavior patterns. He implemented a daring maneuver, using the estate's energy shields to create a temporary corridor, drawing the leader's vessel into a vulnerable position, then activating multiple countermeasures in perfect coordination. The vessel faltered. Trapped temporarily by energy barriers, disoriented by drone interference, Alex's quick thinking allowed them to gain the upper hand without unnecessary destruction. The faction leader's forces, seeing their plan unravel, began to retreat. Confused and frustrated, Lyra looked at Alex, her eyes shining with pride. You have done it. You have demonstrated what humans can do when they combine courage, intellect, and unpredictability. The faction leader underestimates us no longer. Alex exhaled, a mixture of relief and exhilaration flooding him. He realized that humans, often considered weak or ordinary, possessed a unique strength, one that could alter outcomes in ways even advanced civilizations could not predict. He had not just defended the estate. He had proven the extraordinary potential of human ingenuity. The next day, the estate was calm. The faction leader's forces had withdrawn, acknowledging that further attempts would be futile. Alex and Lyra walked through the grounds, surveying the estate, checking systems, and ensuring that everything remained secure. You have changed the course of events, Lyra said softly. Your presence, your decisions, and your courage have saved this estate. You have done what few aliens could achieve. You have made a difference. Alex felt a warmth in his chest. He had started this journey as an ordinary human, uncertain and cautious. But through adaptability, creativity, and courage, he had become something greater, a protector, a strategist, and a testament to human potential. Lyra paused, looking at him with a rare softness. I underestimated humans before, she admitted, but you have shown me that even the simplest human traits, courage, ingenuity, and quick thinking, can change the outcome of events on a scale that few species could manage. You have my respect, my gratitude, and my trust. Alex smiled, humbled. I couldn't have done it without your guidance. You taught me how to focus, how to think strategically, and how to act decisively. Together, we made a difference. Lyra nodded. Indeed. And now, you understand why humans are not to be underestimated. Your actions have proven that being human is not a limitation, it is a strength. Over the following days, life in the estate returned to a cautious normal. Alex continued to monitor the systems, but the sense of immediate danger had passed. The faction leader had retreated, and the estate remained secure. Alex's confidence grew, as did Lyra's reliance on his insight and judgment. In quiet moments, they spoke of the future of rebuilding alliances and of protecting what remained. Alex realized that his role had evolved far beyond mere protection. He had become a symbol of human capability, proof that even ordinary humans could achieve extraordinary results when faced with challenges that required courage, creativity, and adaptability. Lyra looked at him one evening as they watched the stars emerge in the sky. Humans have a quality that cannot be replicated, she said softly. You act in ways we cannot predict, you adapt quickly, and you face danger with courage. That is why you succeeded. That is why humans, underestimated as you are, can accomplish the extraordinary. Alex felt a quiet pride. He had not only protected an alien widow's estate, but he had also proven a larger truth. Humans, underestimated and often overlooked, could rise to challenges and triumph through ingenuity, courage, and determination. As night fell, the estate was calm, and Alex stood on the balcony. Looking out at the horizon, the stars seemed brighter, reflecting the possibilities of the future and the remarkable potential of humanity. He understood now that his journey had changed him. He was no longer an ordinary human. He was a protector, a strategist, and a testament to what humans could achieve when faced with impossible odds. Lyra joined him, her hand resting lightly on his shoulder. The danger is over for now, she said. But remember, human strength lies not just in survival, but in the courage to act, the ability to think differently, and the willingness to face the unknown. You have proven that beyond doubt. Alex nodded, feeling a deep sense of accomplishment and purpose. He had faced danger, learned, adapted, and acted in ways that no one could have anticipated. He had not just survived, he had changed the outcome of events, demonstrated the extraordinary power of human ingenuity, and forged a bond of trust and respect with an alien whose world he had helped save. The night grew quiet, the stars above shimmering with promise. Alex knew that his life had forever changed. He had discovered that humans, often underestimated, could achieve greatness through courage, creativity, and determination. And as he looked at Lyra standing beside him, he realized that this was only the beginning of a new journey, one where humans would always have the power to shape events in ways no one else could predict. For the first time in his life, Alex felt truly extraordinary. And he knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, he and Lyra, united by trust, strategy, and courage, could face anything. Humanity had proven its strength, and he was living proof of it. The stars above seemed to shine brighter that night, a silent acknowledgement of the extraordinary potential of humans. The triumph of courage and ingenuity, and the bond formed between two beings from... The morning after the first night of chaos, Alex woke up with his mind buzzing. The knock, the mysterious widow, the sudden attack, it all felt unreal. Yet every detail of the night before was clear in his memory. He couldn't shake the feeling that life had just changed forever. After a quick breakfast, he walked toward Lyra's estate. Curiosity and responsibility tugging at him with equal force. Lyra greeted him at the main gate, her iridescent skin glowing faintly in the morning light. She did not smile, but there was a softness in her gaze that made Alex feel welcome. "I hope you slept well," she said, her voice calm yet carrying a weight of authority. "Today, we start preparing. I need you to understand what you agreed to." Alex nodded, feeling both excitement and nervousness. "I want to help, I need to understand everything first. What exactly am I protecting? Who are we up against?" Lyra led him inside her home, a place that seemed part palace, part advanced laboratory. Panels and screens lined the walls, displaying information in alien symbols and diagrams he didn't recognize. Drones hovered silently above, scanning the rooms. She gestured to a central console and began explaining. "My husband managed an empire," she said. "It was not a business in the usual sense. He had alliances, holdings, and technology that spanned multiple star systems. After his passing, certain factions believe that the empire is vulnerable. They will try to take what he left behind. Some are aggressive, some subtle, but all are dangerous." Alex listened carefully, trying to take in everything. "And you want me? A human? To help you?" She nodded. "Humans are underestimated. We aliens are cautious, strategic, and sometimes predictable. You, however, can act without such constraints. You improvise. You think in ways no one expects. That is why I came to you. I need your perspective, your instincts, and I need you to protect my estate while I handle diplomacy elsewhere." Alex felt a strange mixture of pride and anxiety. He had never thought of himself as heroic. But now, standing in the presence of someone so powerful and vulnerable at the same time, he realized that his ordinary skills might indeed be extraordinary in this context. Lyra handed him a small device, no larger than a tablet. "This is linked to the estate's security system. You will monitor it, control defenses if necessary, and coordinate with the drones. I will teach you how to use it." Alex studied the device, noting the alien symbols and glowing interface. It looked complicated, but Lyra's patient instructions made it manageable. He discovered that the device could control energy shields, lock doors, scan the perimeter, and even activate defensive drones. "Do not worry if you make mistakes," Lyra said. "You are human. You will find solutions that I cannot foresee. That is your strength." Over the next few hours, Alex learned quickly. He discovered how to manipulate alien technology, anticipate potential threats, and even predict the movements of automated drones. Lyra observed him closely, occasionally nodding in approval. Around midday, an alert sounded from the estate's perimeter. A small group of unknown vehicles approached the gates. Alex's heart raced. He had only just begun to learn the system, but instinctively, he acted. He activated a defensive shield, rerouted power to drones, and adjusted security protocols in ways that seemed risky but effective. Lyra watched silently, pressed by his quick thinking. The vehicles slowed, sensors confused by Alex's unexpected maneuvers. Within moments, they retreated, unable to breach the defenses. Alex exhaled, feeling a thrill of success. "You did well," Lyra said, her voice carrying a note of admiration. "You acted in ways even I did not anticipate. That is why humans are remarkable. Your unpredictability, your courage, it makes you valuable." Alex smiled, feeling a mixture of pride and relief. "I just reacted. I don't know if I really planned anything." Lyra shook her head slightly. "No, that is exactly it. You acted naturally, without hesitation, without overthinking. That is what makes humans so effective in situations like this. Predictable strategies fail against ingenuity and courage." The afternoon passed with more lessons. Alex practiced coordinating drones, monitoring energy shields, and identifying possible weaknesses in the estate's defenses. Lyra explained the importance of diplomacy and intelligence gathering. "Not all threats are physical," she said. "Some come in the form of deception, negotiation, and manipulation. You must be prepared for all." As they worked, Alex noticed that Lyra occasionally paused, glancing at him with a curious intensity. He realized that she was not just teaching him, but also assessing his reactions, his decision-making, and his resilience. There was a mutual respect growing between them, one built on trust, competence, and the understanding that both their lives depended on each other. Late in the afternoon, communication panel activated. A holographic message appeared, showing a figure cloaked in shadows. Alex could not make out the details of the face, but the voice was calm, authoritative, and slightly menacing. "Lyra," the figure said, "we know you are vulnerable. Your husband's passing leaves you exposed. Surrender the estate and no harm will come to you. Refuse, and you will face consequences." Lyra's expression hardened. "We will not surrender. Humans," she said, looking at Alex, "your presence here is critical. Watch carefully. This is how they try to intimidate us. They expect fear, hesitation. We will show them strength." Alex's pulse quickened. He had faced small challenges before, but never anything like this. Yet somehow he felt ready. He had learned quickly, acted decisively, gained confidence in his abilities. The days that followed were a whirlwind of training, preparation, and minor skirmishes. Small groups of intruders tried to breach the estate, only to be foiled by Alex's quick thinking. Each success reinforced his belief that humans could be far more capable than aliens often assumed. During quiet moments, Lyra would share stories of her husband, the Empire, and the delicate balance of power among the alien factions. Alex listened intently, absorbing everything. He realized that he was not just learning to protect her estate, he was learning to understand an entire culture, an alien way of thinking, and the complexity of interstellar politics. One evening, after another successful defense against a small incursion, Lyra and Alex stood on the balcony of her estate, overlooking the valley below. The stars were beginning to appear, distant and bright, casting a serene light across the landscape. "You have done well," Lyra said softly. "Even I am surprised. Humans, you are remarkable. You adapt. You improvise. You face danger without hesitation." Underestimated the impact a human could have. Alex felt a strange warmth at her words. "I'm just doing what I can," he said, "but I have to admit, I never thought I could be this useful." Lyra turned to him, her eyes reflecting the starlight. "You are not just useful. You are essential. Without your instincts, your courage, and your ability to think differently, we would be in grave danger. And yet, you do not see yourself as extraordinary. That is the essence of being human." Alex smiled, a mixture of humility and pride. For the first time in his life, he felt that he truly belonged somewhere important. Not just as a neighbor or a friend, but as a protector, a strategist, and someone whose actions could influence the fate of many. Suddenly, an alert blared from the estate. Another incursion, larger this time, was approaching. Alex's heart raced, but But he did not panic. He had learned to trust his instincts, to act decisively, and to work alongside Lyra. Together, they began coordinating defenses, setting traps, and preparing for the inevitable confrontation as the alien vehicles appeared on the horizon. Alex felt a rush of adrenaline and determination. This was no longer a quiet life in a distant colony. This was a challenge, a test of skill, courage, and ingenuity. And he knew that humans underestimated and overlooked could make all the difference. Lyra glanced at him, her expression calm yet resolute. "Remember," she said, "act naturally. Be unpredictable. That is your strength." Alex nodded. "I won't let you down." The first vehicles reached the outer perimeter. Drones whirred into action, energy shields flared, and Alex's quick decisions forced the intruders to retreat again. He realized, with a thrill, humans could indeed turn the tide in ways even the most advanced aliens might not anticipate. As the night fell, and the last intruders disappeared into the darkness, Alex stood beside Lyra on the balcony, looking out over the estate he had helped defend. He felt a sense of accomplishment, pride, and a newfound understanding of his own potential. Humans might be ordinary in appearance, but in courage, creativity, and adaptability, it could surpass expectations. Lyra's hand rested lightly on his shoulder, a silent acknowledgement of his contribution. "This is only the beginning," she said. "Tomorrow will bring new challenges, and together we will face them. But tonight, you have proven something extraordinary. You are more than a human. You are a force to be reckoned with." Alex smiled, the weight of responsibility balanced by excitement. He knew that the days ahead would be dangerous and unpredictable. But he also knew one thing. With courage, intelligence, and human ingenuity, they could face anything. And for the first time in his life, he was ready for it. The stars above seemed to shine brighter, reflecting the new path he had chosen, a path filled with challenges, adventure, and the extraordinary potential of being human. The morning was quiet, deceptively calm. Alex could feel it in his bones. Today would not be easy. Lyra moved beside him, her posture composed and elegant. Yet there was a sharpness in her eyes that told him she, too, was alert. "The faction leader will make their move soon," she said quietly. "We must be prepared for anything." Alex adjusted the control device strapped to his wrist, scanning the perimeter. The drones hovered silently, sensors sweeping the surroundings, energy shields shimmering faintly. He had grown accustomed to the technology in the last few days, understanding how to anticipate attacks and respond quickly. But this was different. This was the final, direct test. The faction leader was someone who had once been an ally to Lyra's husband. Alex asked, his voice calm, though his mind raced. Lyra nodded. "They will, but they underestimate humans. That is our advantage. You will see that what seems ordinary can be extraordinary." Alex took a deep breath, feeling the weight of responsibility. He had faced smaller attacks before and had learned to adapt, but this was the first time he truly understood the full stakes. Failure could mean the loss of Lyra, her estate, and the fragile peace she had built. But he also knew that his ingenuity, quick thinking, and unpredictable actions could turn the odds in their favor. The day passed in preparation. Alex monitored the estate, adjusted energy shields, and coordinated the drones, testing every defensive system. He noticed patterns in the approaching faction. They moved cautiously, probing for weaknesses, sending scouts, and relying on intelligence reports. Alex realized that while their technology was advanced, their thinking was limited by assumptions. They believed that humans would always act predictably. By afternoon, a message appeared on the holographic panel. The shadowed figure of the faction leader appeared, voice calm and authoritative. "Lyra," the figure said, "your human assistant has shown promise, but promise alone will not save you. Meet me at the neutral zone, or face consequences you cannot escape." Lyra's expression hardened. "We will not meet their terms blindly. Humans," she said, looking at Alex, "this is your moment. Your ability to think differently is our key. Observe, anticipate, and act." Alex felt a thrill of determination. This was exactly the situation he had been preparing for. He reviewed the estate systems, identifying ways to use their own assumptions against them. He realized that humans' unpredictability could be amplified with careful strategy. Evening approached, and with it, the arrival of the faction leader's forces. Unlike the previous attacks, this was deliberate, coordinated, and threatening. Alex quickly implemented a series of deceptive measures. He activated decoys, rerouted drone patrols, and created false energy signals, all designed to confuse and mislead the intruders. Lyra observed, silently impressed. See, your instincts guide you. You do not rely solely on technology. You improvise, and that is why humans are extraordinary. The first wave of attackers approached the estate. Alex's plan worked perfectly. Drones intercepted, energy barriers trapped certain units, and false signals lured others into blind spots. The attackers, expecting a straightforward assault, faltered. Confused by the unexpected human ingenuity, hours passed in tense preparation and defensive maneuvers. Alex coordinated the estate's systems like a conductor guiding an orchestra, each movement precise, decisive, and unpredictable. Lyra followed his lead, trusting his judgment completely. Together, they had become a formidable team. Late that night, a more direct challenge appeared. The faction leader had sent a small strike team to infiltrate the estate. Alex quickly identified the stealth approach using hidden sensors and energy pulses. The intruders were detected before they could reach the main building. He directed drones to intercept, creating controlled chaos that disoriented them. Lyra watched, silently, her eyes reflecting admiration and trust. "You are more than I expected," she said softly. "Your actions are decisive yet unexpected. That is the strength of a human." Alex's mind worked quickly, calculating possible outcomes, improvising solutions, and anticipating every move. He realized that the human ability to adapt in real time, without fear of making unconventional choices, gave them a unique advantage. Every step he took was unpredictable, yet precise, turning the intruder's strength into weakness. Hours later, the strike team retreated, defeated without a single fatality. Alex exhaled, feeling both relief and satisfaction. He had not only protected the estate, but demonstrated that humans, though physically weaker than many aliens, could achieve remarkable results through ingenuity and courage. Lyra approached him as the first light of dawn touched the horizon. "Alex, you have done more than protect my home. You have shown that humans are capable of extraordinary action. Your decisions, your instincts, your creativity, they have turned what could have been disaster into triumph." Alex shook his head. "I didn't do it alone. You guided me, taught me, and trusted me. That made the difference." Lyra smiled faintly, a rare warmth in her expression. "Perhaps, but humans. You act in ways we do not anticipate. That is what makes you powerful. And I have learned that humans are not merely ordinary, they are vital in ways even the most advanced civilizations may not recognize." Over the following days, Alex and Lyra continued to prepare. Small incursions tested their defenses. But Alex's creativity and human intuition consistently outmatched the attacker's strategies. He learned to read patterns, anticipate threats, and turn seemingly ordinary situations into opportunities for advantage. One evening, as they reviewed the estate systems, a subtle alert appeared. A hidden scout had been detected, attempting to relay information to the faction leader. Alex acted immediately. He traced the signal, used drones to intercept the message, and devised a countermeasure that fed false information back to the intruders. Lyra observed, impressed. "You are learning quickly, humans. You are unpredictable in the best way. That is exactly what we need." Alex realized that his role had grown beyond protection. He was now an essential part of Lyra's strategy. A key player whose decisions could change the outcome of events on a galactic scale. And yet, he remained grounded, relying on intuition, courage, adaptability, the human traits that had guided him from the beginning. As night fell, the final test approached. The faction leader himself was moving toward the neutral zone, bringing a carefully selected team of operatives. Alex and Lyra knew that this confrontation would be decisive. Every system, every strategy, and every instinct would be tested. Standing on the balcony of the estate, Alex felt a surge of determination. "We can handle this," he said quietly. "We've prepared, we've learned, and we've adapted. Humans may be underestimated, but we are capable of more than anyone expects." Lyra placed a hand on his shoulder. "And that is why you are indispensable. Together, we will face this final challenge. But remember, act naturally. Trust your instincts. Be unpredictable. That is the essence of human strength." The stars above twinkled brightly, as if acknowledging the approaching test. Alex knew that the coming confrontation would be dangerous, but he also knew that humans, underestimated and overlooked, could turn the tide through ingenuity, courage, and decisive action. And with Lyra beside him, he felt ready for anything. The faction leader was coming. The final confrontation was inevitable, and Alex understood one crucial truth. Humans were not ordinary. They were resilient, adaptable, and capable of extraordinary feats. And tonight, the universe would witness that firsthand. The morning air was crisp and quiet, but Alex knew better than to trust it. After the previous nights of skirmishes and alerts, he had learned that the calmest moments were often the most dangerous. Standing at the edge of Lyra's estate, he surveyed the perimeter, tinting the faint shimmer of energy shields and the silent patrol of hovering drones. Every detail mattered. Every oversight could be exploited. Lyra joined him, her presence calm and commanding. She moved with a grace that seemed almost effortless. Yet every gesture carried precision. "The factions are growing bolder," she said, her eyes scanning the horizon. "They've realized that humans are not so easily intimidated. You, Alex, have changed their expectations. Now they will test us harder." Alex nodded, gripping the control device tightly. "I'm ready. Whatever they throw at us, we'll handle it." Lyra gave a faint smile, rare and fleeting. "Confidence is good, but do not underestimate them. There is one faction in particular, one that my husband once allied with. They are cunning, patient, and ruthless. They will not act openly at first. Their methods are subtle, infiltrating, and dangerous." Alex felt a shiver of apprehension. Subtle attacks were always harder to predict, harder to defend against. But he had learned quickly in the last few days. He could adapt, he could improvise, and he could think in ways that others, especially aliens, might not expect. The day began with training and preparation. Lyra introduced him to more advanced systems in the estate, including cloaked sensors, automated defense turrets, and hidden energy barriers. Alex studied each mechanism, testing its limits and imagining potential scenarios. He discovered that humans' ability to improvise and see connections others might. This was his greatest advantage. Around mid-morning, an alert sounded. Alex immediately checked the monitors. A group of ships, smaller and faster than the previous intrusions, were approaching. Unlike the last attacks, these were not brash. They moved carefully, testing the boundaries of the estate's defenses. "Remember what I taught you," Lyra said. "Predictable actions will be countered. You must act naturally, creatively, and decisively." Alex activated a series of decoys, sending drones to mislead the approaching ships. He rerouted energy from shields to surveillance arrays, creating blind spots that appeared as vulnerabilities. The ships reacted exactly as he had hoped. They moved into the traps. Overextending and exposing themselves, Lyra watched in silent admiration. "You are learning faster than I imagined," she said. "Humans. You have a quality that even the most advanced alien minds sometimes lack: instinct combined with creativity. You adapt in ways that defy prediction." As the intruders retreated, Alex realized that the human ability to improvise, to take risks that aliens might avoid, was turning the tide in their favor. Lyra's trust in him was no longer just a precaution, it was genuine reliance. Later that day, a message arrived on the communication panel. A holographic figure appeared, partially obscured in shadows. "Lyra," the voice said, calm, but with an undercurrent of threat. "Your human assistant is clever, but predictable patterns can always be broken. Surrender or face consequences that will affect not just you, but your estate and everyone within it." Lyra's expression hardened. "We will not surrender. Humans are not weak. They adapt. They survive. And they protect those who rely on them." She looked at Alex. "This is where your ingenuity is most needed. Observe, learn, and act." Over the next few hours, Alex monitored the estate, studying patterns and predicting possible strategies the intruders might use. He began to notice a pattern. The factions were not acting independently. They were coordinating, attempting to overwhelm the estate's defenses gradually. But their strategies had a weakness over confidence. They assumed alien intelligence was superior and humans would falter. By evening, another group of ships appeared, this time larger and more coordinated. Alex quickly implemented a plan. He used drones to create false signals, drawing the ships into narrow corridors where the estate's energy barriers could trap them temporarily. Then he activated countermeasures, designed not to destroy, but to disorient. Lights flashed, shields surged, and the ships faltered. Lyra moved beside him, her hand resting briefly on his shoulder. "You see, your unpredictability confuses them. Humans do not follow strict rules, and that makes you dangerous to them. That is why you are so valuable." Alex smiled, a mix of pride and determination. He felt his confidence growing. Each success reinforced the idea that humans, though physically weaker than many alien species, possessed a unique combination of courage, intelligence, and creativity that could change outcomes even in impossible situations. As night fell, the final challenge of the day appeared. A stealth ship managed to slip past most of the defenses, moving silently toward the estate. Alex realized it was likely a scout, sent to gather intelligence. Without hesitation, he activated hidden sensors, detected the ship's heat signature, and used a series of energy pulses to force it out of stealth. The ship was visible, vulnerable, and soon retreated after a brief skirmish with the drones. Lyra's eyes shone with approval. "That was excellent," she said. "You anticipated their approach and acted before they could fully implement their plan. That is exactly what I hoped humans could do. You are proving that ingenuity and courage can overcome brute strength and superior technology." Alex felt a deep sense of satisfaction. He was no longer just a human living next to an alien widow. He was a protector, a strategist, and a vital part of a defense system that no alien faction could easily understand. He had become essential. During a brief moment of quiet, Lyra spoke softly. "Alex, I must admit something. I have seen many species, many warriors, and many leaders. But humans? You are extraordinary in ways I did not fully understand until now. Your courage, your intuition, your ability to act without fear of what others might consider rules or limitations, it changes everything." Alex felt a warmth in his chest. He had always thought of himself as ordinary, capable of little more than daily tasks and minor decisions. Yet here, in the heart of an alien estate under threat, he had proven himself to be more. Not because of strength or size, but because of thought, adaptability, courage. The night passed with more monitoring and minor skirmishes. Alex and Lyra worked together seamlessly, their actions synchronized as if they had been partners for years. He began to anticipate her instructions, and she began to rely on his judgment without constant oversight. Trust had grown between them, solid and unspoken, built on shared danger and mutual respect. By dawn, the estate remained intact, the factions temporarily deterred, and Alex's confidence had reached a new level. He realized that humans, often overlooked and underestimated, could achieve extraordinary feats when necessity demanded it, and he had become living proof of that potential. As he stood with Lyra on the balcony once more, looking out over the valley below, he felt a sense of readiness he had never known. Tomorrow, Lyra said quietly, we will face the faction leader directly. The one who once allied with my husband? It will be dangerous, and every decision will matter. But you are prepared. You have seen what humans can do. Alex nodded. I won't let you down. Whatever comes, we will handle it together. Lyra's hand rested lightly on his shoulder. A gesture of acknowledgement, trust, and perhaps something deeper. I believe that, she said. And they will learn to believe it too. The stars above twinkled faintly in the early morning light, as if acknowledging the bond between a human and an alien. The courage of one who dared to act where others hesitated, and the extraordinary potential of someone ordinary by appearance, but extraordinary by action. Alex knew the challenges ahead would grow even more difficult. But he also knew that humans, underestimated and overlooked, could face impossible odds and emerge victorious through ingenuity, courage, and the willingness to act without hesitation. And with Lyra by his side, he felt ready for anything. The factions had tested them, the estate had survived, and Alex had discovered a truth he could never ignore. Humans were capable of greatness in ways that even the most advanced civilizations might not anticipate. And that realization would guide every decision he made in the days to come. Alex had always thought his life was quiet and simple. Living in a small human colony on the outer edge of the Orion sector, he enjoyed the peace that most people could not find in the crowded inner planets. His home was small but comfortable, a modest house with a garden that he tended himself. The colony was peaceful, friendly, and safe for, so he thought. That evening, as the sun set behind the distant hills, painting the sky with shades of pink and orange, he sat in his living room, reading a book. When a knock on his door startled him, he frowned. Visitors were rare. The few neighbors he knew were polite but distant, and most people in this quiet colony rarely bothered to visit. Hesitant, Alex walked to the door and opened it. Standing there was a woman unlike anyone he had ever seen. She was tall and graceful, with shimmering skin that seemed to catch the fading light, giving her an almost ethereal glow. Her eyes were large, luminescent, and her long hair rippled, as if it had a life of its own. "Hello," she said softly, her voice calm, but carrying a weight of sadness. "I'm Lyra. I just moved in next door." Alex blinked. He had seen aliens before in the colony, but she was different, more refined, more commanding. And there was a sorrow about her that made him pause. I'm Alex," he said, unsure of what else to say. "Welcome to the neighborhood. Can I help you with something?" Lyra hesitated for a moment, glancing at the street behind her, then back at Alex. "I need some help," she said finally. "I just lost my husband. He was my partner, my protector. Now I am alone here. There are things I cannot manage on my own, and I was hoping you could assist me." Alex furrowed his brow. This was unusual. "Assist you? In what way?" She sighed, and he noticed a small tremor in her hands. "I have resources, property, and responsibilities that I cannot handle alone. There are other Zalian factions, businessmen, opportunists who may try to take what belonged to my husband. I need someone human to help me navigate local systems, to protect what is mine. I am willing to offer a reward, a compensation for your time and effort. Something you could not refuse." Alex blinked again. The offer sounded incredible, almost unbelievable. He had heard stories of humans being hired by aliens to assist with negotiations or local problems, but he had never expected it to happen to him. Part of him wanted to close the door and return to his quiet evening. But there was something about Lyra's presence, her calm yet urgent manner, that made him curious. I don't know," he said cautiously. "I'm just a regular person. I'm not sure I could handle what you're asking." She stepped slightly closer, her eyes meeting his, with an intensity that made him pause. "That is exactly why I need you. Humans are underestimated. Others will see you as ordinary, and that is your advantage. You can act where others would hesitate. You can think in ways no one expects. That is why I chose to come to you." Alex swallowed hard. He had never been considered important in any extraordinary way. But her words stirred something inside him: curiosity, excitement, and a hint of responsibility. Could he really help someone like this? Could he protect an alien widow with a fortune, enemies, and unknown dangers surrounding her? Before he could answer, a sudden alarm sounded from the street. Red lights flashed, and a low mechanical hum filled the air. Alex instinctively took a step back, his heart pounding. Lyra's eyes flicked toward the sound, a hint of fear passing across her face. "They're already here," she said softly. "Somebody is trying to reach me. I should go, but I cannot leave everything unprotected." Alex's instincts kicked in. "What's happening? Who's trying to reach you?" She shook her head, her expression grim. "It is better you do not know yet. But I need your help." Alex hesitated. The risk was enormous, but the offer and the mystery was irresistible. "Okay," he said finally, surprising himself. "I'll help. But you have to explain everything to me first." She nodded, relief flashing across her face. "Thank you. We should move inside. It is safer there." As they entered her nearby residence, a house that dwarfed his own, with smooth walls that glimmered faintly under the evening sky, Alex could see that her words had been no exaggeration. The property was vast, with strange devices that hovered in the air, scanning the perimeter. Drones patrolled silently, and the faint glow of energy shields shimmered at the edges of the garden. Lyra guided him inside, her movements elegant and precise. "I have spent my life managing these properties in my husband's affairs," she explained. "Since his passing, rival factions have begun taking interest. They see weakness and assume opportunity. I need someone who can act unpredictably, someone who will think differently than any alien strategist would. That is why I sought you." Alex looked around, overwhelmed by the complexity of the estate and the advanced technology. He had always known humans were clever, but this was another level entirely. He was beginning to understand what she meant by being underestimated. He could act in ways no one else would expect. Before he could respond, a loud crash came from outside. The drones had intercepted something, a small, fast-moving object. Sparks flew, and Alex felt a rush of adrenaline. Lyra's eyes narrowed. "They are testing us," she said. "They want to see how prepared we are. This is no simple theft or attack. It is a challenge, and they will escalate if we do not respond." Alex's mind raced. He had never been in a situation like this before, but he quickly realized that he could make a difference. He followed Lyra as she moved through the estate, showing him control panels, energy shields, and weapon systems. He learned quickly, surprising even himself with his intuition. "You see," Lyra said, her tone softening as she glanced at him. "Humans are underestimated because others assume we cannot adapt. They do not see your creativity, your courage, your ability to act without fear of rules that constrain others. That is why you can help me where no alien would succeed." Alex felt a strange sense of pride. He had never considered himself extraordinary. But now he realized that his simple human traits, the ability to think quickly, improvise, and act without fear, were exactly what was needed. As the night deepened, they worked together to secure the estate. Alex learned to manipulate alien technology, to anticipate attacks, and to stay calm under pressure. Lyra watched him closely, impressed by his adaptability and resolve. By the time the first hints of dawn touched the horizon, the estate was secure, and Alex had earned her trust. "Thank you," Lyra said quietly, placing a hand on his shoulder. "You have done more than I expected tonight. I see now why humans are so special. Your courage, your quick thinking, it may have saved us both." Alex felt a surge of satisfaction. He had started the evening as a quiet, ordinary human. Now, he was a protector, an ally, someone who could make a real difference. And though he did not fully understand what dangers still awaited them, he knew one thing for certain: his life would never be ordinary again as he returned to his own home, the sky lightening with the first rays of the sun. He could not shake the feeling that this was only the beginning. Lyra's presence, her offer, and the challenges ahead were pulling him into a world far beyond the quiet life he had known. And somewhere in the back of his mind, he felt a thrillous spark of excitement at the unknown. A recognition that humans, no matter how small or ordinary they seemed, could change the course of events in ways even the most powerful aliens would never expect. Alex knew that tomorrow would bring new challenges, new threats, and new opportunities. And as he lay down that morning, staring at the ceiling, he realized that for the first time in his life, he was ready. Ready to face what was coming. Ready to protect, to fight, and to prove that humans ordinary, underestimated, and overlooked could rise to extraordinary challenges. The knock on the door that evening had changed everything, and Alex could not wait to see where this path would lead.